But not every company saw gains today. The biggest decliners in the Dow were all big tech names. Hewlett-Packard shares fell 6.5%. Chipmaker Intel off nearly 2%. And Microsoft tumbled about 5%. And here's why. New data showing a sharp decline in personal computer sales in the first 3 months of the year. And that, along with 2 analyst downgrades on Microsoft, is hitting the software giant especially hard. John Ford has more on Microsoft and what's next for the one-time darling of Wall Street.
For the PC business, the outlook just went from bad to really, really bad.
No one expected a strong start to the year for computer sales. Things always slow down for HP, Dell, and Apple after the holiday season. But these days, they also have to contend with smartphones and tablets stealing away customers' attention and dollars.
So analysts were expecting PC units to be down less than 8% from the first quarter of last year. Yesterday, research firm IDC dropped this bombshell. PC shipments are down about 14%.
It's been kind of 1,000 cuts, every month, PC demand is falling a little worse. And so I think ultimately you say, wow, this upgrade cycle, it's still coming. The story is similar.
And stocks of companies that rely on PCs are feeling the pain, as consumers seem to be spending more on affordable touch devices, and they're unimpressed by efforts like Microsoft's Surface tablet and Windows 8, which try to blend a tablet's touch interface with some of a traditional PC's software.
I think Windows 8 is not enough on its own because, it's got tablet capabilities and it's got notebook capabilities. And the tablet capabilities kind of get in the way if you just want it for a notebook. And I think if you want a tablet, you buy an iPad.
Sherland was one of the analysts who downgraded Microsoft today. Microsoft is pushing ahead into the tablet market amid reports that the company is working on a smaller, more affordable tablet to compete head-on with the iPad mini. What's next? Intel's working hard to lower the price of touch PCs, which it hopes will lure customers.
But these latest numbers suggest that shaving $100 or so off the price might not be enough to stem the tide, especially not with tablets and smartphones coming out this year from Apple, Samsung, and others. For Nightly Business Report, I'm John Fort.
And joining us now to talk more about the future of Microsoft and the PC industry in general is Lance Ulanoff, editor-in-chief of Mashable, a tech website. Mr. Ulanoff, welcome. Good to see you.
Thanks,
it's hard to figure out where to begin with Microsoft, but it feels like a company that really just needs a hit and can't find one. They say Windows 7 is going to be it, Windows 8 is going to be it, the Surface tablets is going to be it, but it never seems to happen.
Well, let's start by saying that everybody's kind of like blaming Windows 8 for this, and obviously there's so many other factors at play. There are the changing habits of the consumer who are holding on to the hardware they have, the desktops and laptops, and are instead buying tablets. But there are also other factors like HP and Dell, like going through all sorts of issues, company issues, and they're not really targeting the consumer the way they did previously. It is a changing world, but it's not all on the back of Windows 8.
Well, you mentioned Dell and Hewlett-Packard, and they are going through a crisis and through a turnaround. If they don't succeed, what impact is that going to have on Microsoft, no matter how well it does on all of its other businesses?
Well, let's just say it's a big market. There are a lot of other companies out there. There's Samsung, there's Asus, and there's Acer, and there will always be a need for computers, at least for the foreseeable future. I mean, the other thing to keep in mind is there's all the businesses that buy these things. When a new operating system comes out like Windows 8, no one jumps to buy it. I mean, they just don't, because for so many reasons. Consumers are not upgrading as fast. They don't need to. They get enough power out of their computers. They spend more time with their tablets, and they're not jumping to buy it until they do eventually buy and they'll get the upgrade. Businesses forget about it. They're not doing it because it's expensive to upgrade like that. And again, what they have right now with Windows 7 is working just fine for them. Let's look 12 months from now and see if the story with Windows 8 is any different.
So let's back to Microsoft. You shouldn't have to apologize for Microsoft. They make a tremendous amount of money, but they're no longer really a growth company. They feel more to me like a utility company. And even in the area that has been their mainstay, which is software, they don't seem to have the cool factor. The cool factor now belongs to Google, to Android. It even belongs to Facebook. Why have they not been able to innovate as effectively as some of these other companies?
You know, oftentimes Microsoft doesn't get credit for innovating. You know, they do Office 365, you know, a cloud-based Office version. They got SkyDrive. You can edit documents in the cloud. You don't need anything running on the desktop. They're doing many of the same things these other guys are doing, but they're seen as sort of the old, out-of-step company.
But they often do it second, Lance.
Well, that's very true, and I think that has been one of the problems for Microsoft is that they are not putting themselves in a leadership position, and it's very few areas. You know, Microsoft's throwing a ton at the wall right now. They're trying with tablets, they're trying with phones, they're trying with cloud-based stuff, and like you said, they're making a lot of money, but they're not grabbing huge chunks of the market like they need to. The one area where Microsoft seems to innovate first and lead is in Xbox, and that may be the secret to their future success.
Let's talk about the future. Fast forward to 3 years from now, everything changes so quickly in technology. Who is going to be the hot software, hardware star of the technology universe?
You know, it seems like Google, because of the way they do it is they're kind of like a giant lab. They're always building new stuff, always trying new things. This is kind of good and bad. It's good because you get exciting new tools to try out. Bad because sometimes Google thinks they're all experiments and they could shut them down at any moment. But they've got that edge. They're willing to try different things. And Microsoft tends to focus a little bit more tightly and sometimes can appear more methodical in their approach.
All right, Lance, thank you very much. Lance Ulanoff, editor-in-chief at Mashable.